Welcome to Shorty, SuperCoach and Langers. You're joining me again, mate. And off the top, your team's in crisis. What's going on, mate? Walk us through. You messaged me over the weekend. You've done so a few times. You're not a happy man at the minute.
Hi, everybody. My name's Jake, and my SuperCoach team sucks.
Shit.
I need help, Daniel.
Yeah.
You might as well call my team Jack Darling because I just cannot score at the moment. I traded in Travis Boak last week. He scored 129 in one of the early games the Friday night. I'm thinking, here we go. Had the VC on Grundy with a nice juicy 134, and that's where my troubles arose. Not only is my team underperforming, but I am also underperforming as well.
Oh, no.
I did a bit of a loophole. Steph Martin off. Blake
so bad.
Blake Schlensog on as captain. No worries. Just, I had a wedding on Saturday, so it was a busy day. And then I sort of, the first game started, and I'm like, I wonder what Martin's scoring. Hang on, where's... Oh my God, I've left him on the bench without the emergency. Oh, no. So Saturday was when my weekend really started going pear-shaped. Martin was off, and I wasn't getting his score. He only scored 93, and we'll talk more about Steph Martin later. I only scored 2,023 this week.
Yeah.
On the back of some really poor rookie scores and some really poor premium scores. I've got currently 27 trades left, and I've used 2 this week. We'll go into that later, but I just cannot score. All the names seem to be there.
Yeah.
In the midfield, up forward now, in the back line, but I just cannot score. And
yeah.
I
remember discussing pre-season, and we didn't have too much difference with our side, and it must just be the odd thing each week that's getting you undone. But
where are you ranked again, Daniel?
Just outside the top 2,000.
Oh, okay. I'm actually 32,000. So can you just give me some tips and pointers on how to better my team?
But you're better than that, mate. That's the thing. When you told me your rank, I was like, what? Because I don't actually think we're in a classic league together. I think I forgot to join.
No, only 3 people joined my league. So
just so obsessed with draft. So obsessed with draft.
Yeah.
But so I haven't really been seeing how you're going. Can I have a look at your team, please? John?
Yeah, here you go, mate. Here's my phone. Have a look.
Yeah.
I've already done my trades, mind you. So there's a couple who aren't in there. So I've used my 2 trades for this week.
Yeah.
So out come Liberatore, who had a bad game, and his break-even has reached 115, which I can't guarantee you that he'll get. He might, but I can't guarantee you he will.
Yeah.
So he's been brought out for Lachie Neale, which I just had to get in. He was the big fish that I had to land. Last year it was Jack Macrae, and I waited, and I didn't get Jack Macrae in, and I never got him in.
Yeah.
And I lost out big points, big time. So I just got Lachie Neale in this week. To get that done, out comes Steph Martin, who only scored 93 against a poor Gold Coast side. He didn't even turn up against Gold Coast, and he hasn't been doing it for me this year. And I should have just started with Gawn like everyone else, but I didn't do that, Daniel, all right? I was going to start with Nank, and I didn't do that either, which was okay. So I picked the second worst of 3 options.
Yeah.
All right? So Steph Martin comes out for Riley O'Brien, who's been extremely consistent.
Yeah.
He's going to score me the same each week as Steph Martin, and he cost 200,000 less. So that's my thoughts behind that move. I had to get Neale in. That was the number one. I had to get him in. His break-even's 160. He might go down next week. He might score 150 this week, but I just had to get him in.
Yeah.
So that was the basis of my trades this week. What are your thoughts on that, Daniel? I've got 50 grand left to maybe get Tim Kelly in next week or a defender.
I think it's the sort of trades that you probably had to do for a man who's looking to go up the ranks. I think, if you were ranked around, 5,000-10,000 or something, you'd be like, nah, just hold the faith, I
could have got Neale next week.
Yeah, but you want to get things happening now because it's just not working. But looking at your side just quickly before, I mean, obviously Menegola hasn't worked in the forward line, but, and probably missing out on Neale and those sort of things. But otherwise,
all the names are there.
I mean, Witherden is probably another guy who hasn't quite lit it on fire like we may have hoped, and Martin. And I guess that it doesn't take much to really hurt your side. I mean, it's only a few selections that are just off.
Yeah.
And it is so close. And look, I'll back in to still claw your way back to the top 10,000.
I want to get into at least top 20,000 soon. But yeah,
that'll
happen. As high as I can get, that's what I'm aiming for. I'm going all out now. I need redemption. on myself. And this week I had some really poor scores. So I had Willem Drew scored 62, which isn't bad, but he'd been scoring in like the 90s and 100s. Petroskelly?
He's rattled the young man.
Petrocelli scored 48, but the whole West Coast forward line didn't get a touch, and you'd back him in to get over 60 against Gold Coast. I think they've got this week.
Yeah.
Libba got like 70s, which you'd expect more from him. Whitfield was injured and got 45, still kicked 2 goals, but I thought he was off. I was messaging you like, is Whitfield dead? Like, what's he doing? He wasn't moving. Witherden scored 62. Cripps only got 93. You'd expect another like 30 points out of him.
Was he captain?
He was not my captain, no. No, Grundy was my VC, so I still loopholed him.
Oh, you still got his loophole.
I still got a loophole, but I just missed Martin's score. Even with Martin's score, I would have only just snuck over 2,100.
Yeah.
Well,
I think at the moment, most people will trade out Libba this week. I mean, I will be. And I think he's done his job.
Yeah, he has.
I think he's been good. He's lasted 6 rounds. He's averaged 100 odd. He's gone up in value. 80, 90k or something like that. And now provides a stepping stone to a premium. So
that's what he was.
That's what we had hoped, and that's what he's delivered. I think O'Brien's a really interesting one. I think I brought him in before he went up from that 130, but I did not expect these sort of scores. I was expecting maybe a high 70s average. I mean, when a guy rucks it solo, they always go pretty solidly, but he's been really good. So I can understand, some people might view it as, I guess, a bit of a, not sideways, but you need to find coins some way. And I guess it comes a stage where you've got to be like, okay, well, Martin hasn't worked. I've got to find a bloke who's doing well, still going to go up.
Yep.
And then I'm imagining your plan is to eventually get to Gorn or something like
look,
that.
that's the plan. Hopefully one of these rookies eventually gets me to do that later on. But I think I'm comfortable just leaving him there now. And if there is a stage where he bottoms out, or the opposite of bottoms out, reaches his peak,
peaks it,
that's the one. Hopefully he's at 450 or something where I can might only take like 100k to get him up to Gorn, hopefully, or someone around that sort of price point. Goldstein maybe. Look, Daniel, we can all hope for the best, but there's a couple of underperforming premiums in my side, like Menegola, like Martin, and Heaney is, I don't know, Sydney and Heaney are starting to go back down again after they had a couple of better performances. Witherden, as you said, I'll probably be trying to move him on for Shannon Hearn now, or Jake Lloyd, who I haven't got, and that probably was a bad decision not to start him, so thanks for that, Shorty. Jack McRae, we were talking about during the week, he's got quite a high break even. He'll be getting almost under 600k soon, so he'll be at a juicy price for us to get as well soon.
I think Gorn is showing that he is an absolute superstar, and I think we're within our rights to avoid him off the top. You just don't know what the Proust factor can do, and Grundy's been really, really good. So I think a lot of people will be saying, okay, now we've seen what we need to see, let's look to luxury trade him later in the season. But most people probably have Goldstein or someone like that.
Just looking at Gorn's scores, his lowest score is 87, and that was in
round one.
So we really didn't have cause for concern. We probably jumped the gun looking at the Proust matchup. He came and played 2 games, and Gorn's lowest score in those 2 games were 113. So
but you gotta see it. You gotta have a look.
You have to think.
We look back now and go, Proust didn't really affect it, but we've seen people get affected before. So Grundy was a safer option, and they're doing similar things. So.
And I didn't see Oscar McInerney at Brisbane taking a lot of points off Steph Martin. Even though he's majority forward, he still has been floating through like forward stoppages and playing the ruck in that role too. Martin just doesn't seem to be able to score. He's only got over 100 twice, and he barely got over that. So
it's and a bit like Simon Goodwin, mate. It's not working for him. He had to change a few things. Oliver goes full forward, and he moves Malcolm, he swaps Hibbert around, Brayshaw goes slightly to a wing, Tom McDonald goes back. You've got to change some things, so I understand that, but I think now's the time you can do it. You need to get active, because a lot of players are really moving about with the prices, and we're starting to get some actual value from our rookies. So
what are you thinking about this week for you for trades?
For
I know
me?
you're keen on Big Fifey.
Yeah, Fife's coming in.
Okay.
Libba's out, Fife's in.
Yeah. Can you do that in one trade, or do you need a...
Yes.
Oh,
So I've got
good deal.
so it's only 80 odd K, and I've still got a bit of coin left over. It all sort of stems
Yep.
back to when I went Martin to Rockcliffe, basically.
Which has been a good move.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
worked out well.
Yep.
So and I'm in a bit of a quandary, mate. I don't know whether. I mean, Will Hayes, probably does he have to come in? I'll see if he gets named. And then, Haitley as well. I know he got dropped, but he scored 95.
He played so well and got dropped.
Yeah. So
Really.
I saw he dominated the Neefle again. Like, is he in the mix? He's probably forever on the fringe.
Might be the old Josh Glenn.
Yeah,
A couple of years ago
that's
at
right.
Gold Coast.
Yeah.
I reckon with Dowd over Cornelio and Whitfield, one of them will probably come out, and we might see Haitley come back into the side.
I know, but it's frustrating because they're going to come back for a week or two. I don't want to downgrade a bloke to get one price rise. So I'm thinking, I really like the look of Hayes. I mean, he scored 70 and 54. It's not amazing, but I like the look of him. Mature age, he finds space really well. Probably just needs to be a little cooler by foot.
Yes, not panic.
Yeah. So I think the Dogs will give him opportunity. If he's named this week, I dare say it'd be tough to not go with him for me. And then the question is, and I'd like your thoughts on this, whether it's Bailey Scott out or Atkins out. Now, that might sound, before I get your answer, that might sound super obvious, but, Shorty, Atkins is playing, you'll break even 25, Scott's not even playing, he might not come back for weeks and weeks, but I just feel like Scott will get an opportunity. He's got break even at 10, so he's still got his 172k.
Yeah.
Atkins, I don't know if he's scored more than 70 yet, but my thought is one trade gains me 55k. That sort of, there's something hurts me about that.
Not enough. Yeah,
where Atkins,
that's what my thinking was too, and that's why I've still got Setterfield as well.
Yeah,
because he's not even over 200k yet.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've seen a lot of people have actually been trading out Gibbons, who scored 51, but
we still got that 100.
His break even's minus 19.
Yeah,
so keeping him for 2 weeks. Wait till he's over 300k, then trade him.
Yeah, you've got to
leave him on your bench.
Get the bang for buck from that 100.
Yeah, unless you're super desp, just leave him on the bench. He's still going to score, 30s and 50s on your bench, and you're not going to be worried about it. But he'll make you the extra 50 or 60k, then you can get him out of there for someone else, or downgrade him to Hayes, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
or someone. Ainsworth from Brisbane debuted last week and looked okay. Yeah.
So, do you agree that 55k for one trade is not enough?
You want to make at least 100k out of
a
trade. How much is a trade worth, Daniel?
Well, that's the thing. I always like to put it about 150k. You probably want to do that, and I guess Atkins is only going to get me barely 120, but
then you have to weigh up whether the next week he'll start losing money again. That's where you just have to try and sell high, don't you?
And that's the thing. I mean, there might be a fella who pops up that I might be able to not go with Hayes, because the only thing pressing that issue is the fact that I might miss Hayes.
Yes.
And I guess it's worth thinking about, because I'll need those guys making coin. I think our first wave of rookies, they're always good. They always make money. We know who's playing from round one. It's that second wave where you bring someone in.
Yep.
Then they're dropped after 3 weeks, and all of a sudden you have all these holes in your bench, and you just can't
you've got no playing rookies on the bench.
You just can't move anywhere. So
And
that's what stalls you.
I think that's the same with Parker now too. His break even's still 17, and he's scoring 50s, even though he kicked 3 goals and looked like he was St Kilda's best player from the highlights package.
Yeah.
He's still only 225k, so you'd want to try and get him as close to 300k as possible, and then downgrade from there. Same with Petruccelli, same with Drew, same with Dersma. Hoare I just brought in last week, and he's had a couple of, a good price rise now. We said that last week, this is the time when you start to bring in players into your team that are going to benefit your team, and I brought Boak and Hoare in. I'm like, how good. Hoare scored 86, Boak scored 130 odd. Look at me, I'm going to be flying 2,200 this week. Next minute, just no minute. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
and you've always got to think almost 4 to 6 trades ahead. So I'm looking at my team, and I'm thinking, got to put a priority on getting McRae if you don't have him already, because he's
Yeah.
going to really get pretty cheap in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
And I've sort of aligned Constable to him.
Yes, well, that I saw Constable, and I didn't necessarily want to get rid of Libba, and I played around with could I get Neil by using Constable, even though I know he's still got money to be made.
Yeah.
You still want to have like as much firepower in your team as possible.
Yeah.
But if Libba's got to go, he's got to go, and Constable at this rate looks like he's been more consistent than Libba anyway. But yeah, he's definitely probably the next mid rookie to come out of the midfield to get upgraded to McRae or Bont or one of these other well-performing midfielders. Our good friend Chook traded out Clary 2 weeks ago, and since then he scored 108 and 105. He still has been underperforming for what we'd know him to be. But do you think people should be thinking about trading Clayton or?
No, I don't, and I've been pretty big on backing him in, and you're right, he hasn't got to those ultra premium levels yet, but I think if you're ever going to make that call, it probably would have been a little while back.
Or like your last upgrade in the midfield.
There's nothing worse than sort of absorbing the drop in price and then going like, okay, now I'll do it, because it's sort of a lose-lose, because Clary will hit form at some point. He's
Melbourne
just a touch
Clary
off.
will,
Like, I watched most of the game. He wasn't poor. He still turned the ball over a little bit, but as you said, a couple of hundreds. So at some stage he's going to be back to close to his best. And I think if you have copped it for 6 weeks, that turn is closer than it has been before. So.
And he's still averaging career high disposals as well. It just needs to click for him and the side. And then he'll start scoring consistently over like 120 or 115. So.
Yeah. There's a good point you raised before with we trade in and out and break evens and stuff, but making sure you have firepower on the field. I think we often get to that stage where it's like, oh, he's not going to make any more money, trade him down.
Yep.
But then you've sort of sacrificed like, oh, his break even's 84, he's only scored 79.
Yeah.
But you're bringing a guy who scores 40
Yeah.
or something like that. So
and that's partly the reason that I held Menegola last week, because I could have traded Menegola or more to get Boak in. But, I played around with it and I traded Menegola out for Boak, and it just didn't look right having more sitting at F4.
Yeah.
So and I could still make the trade to Boak with more going, and in the end it was the right decision, and Menegola still ended up scoring 15 more than more, but he's still not performing to what I want. But I think I've come to terms with what role he's played in Geelong's team, and obviously Gary Ablett's on absolute fire, and he seems to have been taking a lot of those points and Menegola's role off him. And I think if Ablett wasn't there, it's easy to say that Menegola would be scoring better.
Yeah.
Maybe once Ablett retires, maybe I'll look at Menegola
again.
Menegola, he scored 85, so he's been my biggest headache so far this year. He just doesn't, because I do stats, look at the stats for the Clouder page as well.
Yeah.
And he just hasn't been getting inside 50s, which is his role in the team, and getting goal assists and score assists. He just hasn't been doing that. He's had 2 inside 50s the last 3 weeks, which for him as a role isn't good enough, but he's still thankfully scoring, not reasonably, but okay, because he's still getting that disposals and clearances and tackle numbers, but I know that he can get more.
Yeah.
He's been my number one headache.
And the forward line is tricky. I was reading just for fun, SuperCoach 2019 preview forward line premiums on some page.
Yeah.
And they were previewing all the players, and obviously Paddy, Heaney, cool. And then there was Westhoff, Devon Smith, Menegola, Robbie Gray, Lance Franklin.
He's out this week.
There's all these guys that are discussed in the premium.
That's a whole
Tom Hawkins was another, and then nowhere near it.
Yeah.
So, do they bounce back? Gray's out for a long time. I wouldn't be getting on board a cheap Franklin. Devon Smith might be able to turn it around. Menegola may be able to turn it around, but they seem to be playing different roles. Shield comes in, Ablett change of role. It looks to be a different sort of setup. So, really interesting. Sam Walsh is flying too, but just keep an eye on him. Not to say he's going to drop off, but he scores 79 or whatever.
Yep.
I think it's that age-old debate of, the points on field versus break even, but he could get
Yeah.
to a stage where he's in the high 400s.
Yeah.
And he will get tired at some point. So I just think it'd be fantastic to be able to do, because we often think an upgrade's about 150 to 250k. It'd be amazing to upgrade in the midfield
For like
for about
80K.
60, 80k.
Yeah.
So don't miss that boat as well, which could happen in a couple of
his
weeks.
break even's 67, so
Yeah.
he'd wanna get like a good 90 score to like push that back down a bit or keep it around the 50s.
What's he priced at?
He's
440?
445.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you could even go like, maybe when Gibbons is ready to go, maybe you go Gibbons down and Walsh up to someone.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
And that could be McRae.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
And just finally,
Yes.
Whitfield, Canelio, you mentioned that they're in a bit of doubt.
Yeah, well, Whitfield had a corked thigh, I'm led to believe. I didn't see the game because I was at this wedding, but I was messaging you and I was looking at the fan footy, as you know I do and I love to do, and you hate it. But, and I saw that he was on 20 or something in the first quarter, and it was during the third quarter he was on like 24. I was like, is Whitfield dead? Is he injured? And you're like, no, he's all right. Oh, no, he's injured. And then just as we said that, I watched a bit of the game and saw he had like a corked, like padding on his corked thigh, and he was playing forward.
Yeah.
And then he kicked another goal. As soon as I turned the TV on, I'm like, what have you been doing?
Yeah.
And he was getting tagged, I think, by Hewitt as well as having a corked thigh. So he did well to score 45.
Because I was watching the Dogs Freo game, and I'd seen the first quarter or so of that one, and he was going okay. I listened on the radio, and he intercepted one, kicked a goal. I was like, yeah, this bloke's flying, he's back. And then I looked, I was like, oh my god, why is Jake asking this? And then I actually went to the player tracker, and it's just parked at four pocket. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And then I realised the commentators actually just said, he's struggling through. But it's weird to think that he played through the game, but could miss. One would imagine. No, it doesn't work like that. But
there was a quote just before on Facebook saying he's more unlikely than likely to play. And Canelio broke or dislocated his finger. That's why he's wearing the glove. He still kicked 4 goals and had 30 touches.
Yeah, he still went alright, didn't he?
20 touches. Either way, he missed out on the medal to young Timothy Taranto. But I reckon he'll be right. A finger they can normally get away with.
Yeah, wear that glove.
Yeah, just play, Stephen. Thanks.
Yeah. Now, it could be chaos, because then you got to play someone who's probably only going to bust you a 50 or so, but we'll see how he goes. Look, thanks for that, mate.
Thank you.
I really hope your team can respond.
Yeah, well, I might check in with you next week, or maybe if I'm not here, you can just let the fans know what I scored.
Yes,
and hopefully with your sage wisdom, I can, I just want to get 2,200. I've not scored 2,200 this year, so.
Well, looking at that team, it looks good. There's minimal differences between our sides, and there are guys who are out of form but capable. So hopefully some of those guys can actually do what they're capable of and why you picked them. So
hopefully I can just do a loophole right as well. Don't get me started on loopholes this week.
Don't forget that emergency, for God's sake.
That also rattled me when the draft group chat collectively roasted me about using loopholes, and it was non-discussed the whole time, the 5 weeks that we'd been playing. But then
shout out to Watson.
Chipper was like, Langers, don't use the loophole. And I had the loophole on Pendlebury. Didn't matter anyway, because Schmiffer actually scored over 2,000 against me in draft, and he's absolutely flying.
Yeah, he is flying, but
that's right. Just take all the fun out of the game. But that's fine. So
that was a full inbox roasting. I just logged on. I was like, oh.
It's just 10 messages. There was a poll. Should Langers be allowed to loophole? Yes, no. Langers is a dog. Also, no.
I stayed out on the poll. I was like, this is getting a bit hectic.
Thanks for the help there, Shorty.
Yeah. All right, well.
Yeah.
All the best, mate. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, thanks.
Cheers.